Welcome back, guys. Ben here, and today we are back with more of Call of the Elder Gods. If you've missed the previous episode, there will be a link in the description below for the playlist where you can check out the previous episode. That covered the prologue, chapter 1 and 2. This is chapter 3 and onwards, so we're gonna see what we get up to today. So sit back, relax, like, comment, subscribe. This is Call of the Elder Gods.
Wake her up. Welcome back, Evangeline.
Finally, this is also the story of an obsessive, manipulative, and ambitious man. This is the story of Caleb Bowen.
Wait, where am I?
I'll be the one asking the questions here, girl. My name is Caleb Bowen. I work for the United States government.
Bowen often made that claim, though it was at best a half-truth. Sure, he'd worked for the government once, but that was a long time ago, and he'd been running solo for years.
Do you realize that you trespassed on a site closed off by the United States government? And more importantly, that you were seen in the company of Professor Harrison Everhart. You may not know this, but Everhart is a subversive individual. We suspect he may be working for the communists.
Bowen kept lying. He knew Harry could be many things, but a communist was definitely not one of them.
You better have proof for what you're saying.
You are in no position to demand anything, girl. But even so, I'll show you who Professor Everhart really is. Your father's name was Franklin Drayton. He and his brother Moses ran a workshop in Benoit, Mississippi called Drayton Motors. He died in a work accident in San Francisco in 1934. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Well, maybe things aren't quite as you think they are, girl. Do you recognize anyone besides your father in this photograph?
Wait, is that Professor Everhart?
Oh, correct. Everhart led an expedition to the Pacific in 1934. Your father was part of that expedition.
That was the only truth Bowen told during his conversation with Evangeline.
Your father didn't die in San Francisco, Miss Drayton. He died in excruciating agony, alone and abandoned, on an island in the Pacific, and all because of Professor Everhart. I bet he never told you that, did he? In fact, every member of the Everhart expedition died or disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Even the professor's wife, whose strange illness was the impetus for the expedition, vanished under equally mysterious circumstances.
I didn't vanish. I simply fulfilled my destiny, accepting the painful sacrifice my husband planned.
How can you possibly know that?
One of my associates was part of that expedition. She also perished, though not before informing us of what had happened.
Evie was in shock and full of doubt. The professor was a withdrawn and sullen individual and, frankly, really hard to deal with, but could he also be responsible for her father's death? Despite her doubts, she kept silent, and wisely so. She still didn't trust this Bowen fella, regardless of his claim that he worked for the government.
Now you know the kind of person you've gotten involved with, Evangeline. And the kind of trouble you're in. I have a few questions for you. For your own good, I suggest you cooperate. That platform beneath the lake in the Rappahannock River caves, how did you manage to activate it?
You want me to explain
Sarcastic.
how to activate that platform? It's easy.
Go on.
You just have to stop being a dim-witted weasel.
Don't test my patience, little girl. You don't know what I'm capable of.
Don't listen to her, Pharaoh. You must have recognized the girl's cognitive pattern, I'm sure of it. She even mentioned a period of amnesia, just like Peasley.
I hope you're right.
Evangeline had not the slightest idea what those two men were talking about.
Next question. You said a word while you were asleep. Nakotis. Do you know what that means?
I actually don't know, but I'm going to go with the sarcastic.
It means pompous government jerk with a ridiculous pencil mustache.
You watch your mouth, girl. I'm warning you.
Didn't have to go for his
Final
mustache.
question. Have you heard of someone named Dr. West?
He might help you with your medical conditions.
Yes, he's a famous proctologist. Maybe he could help with your hemorrhoids.
You think you're funny, you damn brat? Want me to teach you some manners, huh?
Besides being
Got an achievement for
obsessive,
that.
manipulative, and ambitious, Caleb Bowen was also racist. And Evie mocking him didn't sit well
Didn't surprise
with
me
him
for the
at
times.
all.
I'll teach you some manners, you damn brat.
This is a waste of time, Pharaoh. It's obvious the girl is hiding something.
Call him
There
Pharaoh.
are more effective and less traumatic ways of getting that information.
You're right. Proceed.
You expect me to buy that this old geezer with a bow tie works for the government too?
You'll recall I mentioned that Evie was feisty and stubborn as a mule. And whatever they had
You've given us, like, a
injected her
truth
with
serum.
wasn't doing much to tame her spirit.
I like to laugh too, Miss Drayton. Please take a look at this. Do you understand this language?
Even though it was written in those puzzling characters, Evie understood the book's title. Narcotic Manuscripts. Non-linear displacements toward the Great Library and reversible transfer of cognitive pattern.
Tell me, Miss Drayton, what's written in the book cover?
We're gonna keep doing.
Narcotic manuscripts.
Evie surprised herself.
Oh,
Had she spoken
doesn't matter what
against
you
her will,
chose.
she couldn't help but translate the book's subtitle as well. She was feeling more and more tired.
Yeah, truth serums.
Better, Miss Drayton.
Doesn't matter what you choose then.
Open the book. Focus and listen to my
Nice.
voice.
Hypnotizing
Listen
us.
to my voice while you read the book to us. Read the book to us.
Salvek, Kornathun, Nakotas.
What just happened? Am I in my dorm?
Huh. Are we actually there? Can't interact with anything. Oh,
Oh no, Evie was not in her dorm room.
nope.
Not at all.
Hey, over here, Evangeline. Hey, how are things, kid?
Papa! Papa! But it can't be! You're alive?
Oh, of course I am, darling. But you have to find a way.
That was not her father, of course.
You must reach Nakotas.
Have I crossed another one of those portals? Good Lord. None of this makes any sense.
Very cool from an abstract point of view as well, isn't it? These giant books.
This is weird. Really weird.
Salve cornathun nakotas.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Motors? Dad and Uncle Mo's motor shop in Benoit?
Benoit, Mississippi.
Moses, we're running out of money. If we don't get some cash soon, we'll have to shut the shop down. Yeah, well, that's easy for you to say. I've got a daughter to provide for.
You're a whiz, mister. Would you be interested by any chance in an exciting job opportunity in the Pacific?
That's how they bumped into each other then.
Papa, don't do it! Don't go to San Francisco, please! Hey, what just happened?
It'll only be a few days, Jitterbug. I'll be back before you can say Jack Robinson.
Very trippy. Oh. This is actually that level.
Drayton is dead, but it doesn't matter. His death brings me closer to an answer. I'll do whatever it takes. The only thing that matters is Nora's life.
I'm not sure that's quite how
Wait, no.
it was. Yeah.
That doesn't sound
was
like
positioned.
the professor at all.
Evie realized Bowen's lies were seeping into her thoughts.
It's the same path Nora walked up in the first game.
Frank,
Oh.
how do you feel?
Not good. But that doesn't matter anymore, Mr. Harry. Just listen to me. Get off this cursed island. You'll find nothing here but death. Go back home. Spend what time you've got left with your wife.
Oh.
And there's another thing I want to ask of you.
Where am I now?
This was our dream at the beginning of the game, wasn't it?
Who are you?
Salve cornathun nakotas.
The great engineer?
I think like Frank's spirit is still here or something because he died on the island.
Salve cornathun nakotas.
Oh.
Incredible. Did you hear that? We were right. We finally found the coordinates. At last we know where Nakotas lies. Thanks for your cooperation, Miss Drayton.
About an hour after Evangeline had her otherworldly vision,
Finally, I'm inside.
Harry snuck into the same building where she was being kept captive. He had been there many years ago, when he was seeking funding for the Everheart expedition.
Evangeline got caught, but not Harry.
Miss Drayton, are you there?
Starting to get the Pharaoh moniker that the Caleb Bowen
What on
uses.
earth?
Harry had always suspected that the Starry Wisdom was something far more sinister than a simple astronomical society. And as soon as he stepped into their inner sanctum, his worst fears were confirmed.
Bastard. Goddess of protection and love.
Anubis.
Anubis. Egyptian god of the underworld.
That's Horus. Is it Horus?
Thoth.
Oh, Thoth.
God of
Okay.
intelligence and magic. That is so big.
Tebek.
God of fertility and life, and Lord of the Nile. A statue of
There's Horus, yeah.
Egyptian god of order and justice.
I love Egyptian mythology. So cool. Oh, there's stairs behind the curtain.
Egyptian hieroglyphs?
Access to the Black Pharaoh room is strictly forbidden. Only once the participants have aligned the elements of their statues will the Great Black Pharaoh descend from his chambers to begin the ritual.
Apparently, the only way to get into the Pharaoh's office is by getting the right combination on the statues downstairs. And I bet my life that Pharaoh is Caleb Bowen.
There's the Black Pharaoh there.
Only those who have been enlightened know the divine geometry of the tetrahedron, which grants access to the gates of knowledge. What's this load of baloney?
Oh. There we go. Sun, stars, and moons.
A tetrahedron.
Can we not take it?
A tetra...
No.
These people are out of their minds, no doubt about it. And they clearly have a pathological obsession with Egypt.
Is this like a little take on Scientology, maybe?
There's a
Weird
pyramid in the
society
center
thing.
of this chamber. I wonder if...
Oh, we can drag around it.
certain sections of this pyramid seem to move.
For a moment, Harry wondered whether it was a good idea to mess with the mechanism, but he quickly dismissed the thought. Even if it meant alerting someone, he had to find Evangeline and get out of there.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got to do it in such a way. Okay. Okay, so this one has to be the moon. Has to be the stars. Oh, there we go. Huh. Not quite sure what we need to do with that one yet.
Stellae Sapientis. The Starry Wisdom Society. Providence.
These little
I
badges.
believe my psychiatrist had one of these too.
Okay. Very Egyptian obsessed, isn't it?
I can't seem to find a way to open any of these doors.
Okay, there's probably the hieroglyphs and the statues downstairs.
None of these doors have handles. How am I supposed to open them? Egyptian hieroglyphs?
Okay. Okay, so they've all got particular names. That's where we came from, wasn't there? But there wasn't anything we're missing here, was there?
I'm not leaving here without Evangeline.
Okay. It's like an elevator.
This elevator doesn't seem to have a call button. I don't know what to do with it.
Okay. We got the hieroglyphs. Is that slightly different on the left hand? I mean, these ones are all the same here, and then different. And these top four are the same as well. Those are all the old things. So it's like numbers. Howard, Larry, Eugene, Felix, Patricia. What their job is. What their stars are. And what the hieroglyphs are.
That is Sobek, god of fertility and life and lord of the Nile.
We need like a members list, don't we? Can't interact with any of those.
A black statue of a pharaoh. I don't know which one it represents, but it's unsettling to say the least.
Caleb's own one, probably. Right. So we've got some stuff to do here then. There we go. I guess. Oh, back here. There we go. Oh, it spins at different points. Okay. There's a light above every window. Ah, there we go.
Yes, the doors to the upper rooms are open.
Perfect. Okay. There we go. Ah, they've all got their own themed office. This is pretty cool, though. This is like perks of the membership.
Like a biologist's office.
I'd probably join just for the cool office. Like photographic processing instructions. Dip the exposed photographic paper into 3 tubs of chemicals. Developer, stop bath, fixer. is that skull? This is Patricia Seckler, PhD in biology.
I'm sure I could name all the fish in this aquarium.
Much to his dismay, Harry had become something of an expert on fish, especially those with striking spotted patterns.
I'm sure I could name all the fish in this aquarium.
Do we need
Much
to?
to his dismay, Harry...
The shelf is packed with every kind of specimen. Looks like it came straight out of Dr. Frankenstein's lab.
Life isn't all hocus pocus. Just say the word and we'll have a drink sometime, sweetheart. Howard.
Looks like even kooky cultists have a love life. Who would have thought?
I'm glad we finally changed positions. Last time I had to go last and I didn't like it. 28th of October, 57.
They rotated the positions. What does that mean? Hanging your college diploma on the wall while you're in some sort of weird cult doesn't strike me as the smartest idea.
University of Chicago. Patricia Seckler. What's behind door number 2?
Just an office. But this couch, maybe from a psychiatrist's office?
Right. Yeah,
This
that's the
metronome
guy.
still makes my skin crawl.
So 28th of October, 57. At last I'm getting rid of that idiot. At least in the rituals, it was about time.
Sounds glad to be rid of him.
They don't get on with each other.
Pharaoh already announced the ritual positions. I'll have to be next to Orion nearly all year.
Harry immediately recognized the voice of Dr. Frog in the Throat.
I've always despised spoiled rich kids, and Orion's no exception. I'll have to pretend I tolerate him, but luckily I'm fairly skilled at pretending.
Oh.
So the good doctor tried to make off with pieces of the Black Ooze statuette. Wrong move, pal.
I thought in Evangeline's interrogation he had some of the little spots on his face. He does not have long left himself then, really. It's incurable, isn't it, once you've got it? Clinical note. Professor Harrison Walton Everhart. The patient presents chronic insomnia accompanied by panic episodes. Prescription, phenobarbital, 1 tablet. Instruct patient to take an additional dose in case of panic episodes. Eugene Kingsley. So his name is Eugene Kingsley. Okay.
Drat. This is my prescription. From Dr. Frog in the Throat. Drat.
Okay. Rituals by 1955. Felix's camera.
A roll of film. I wonder what's on it. 1955. So they've been doing this for a while now.
Okay. That was Eugene. We don't have his name for some reason, even though it was on there. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Next room.
This office looks expensive. Must belong to some sort of dilettante. This fella clearly has expensive tastes. I'm impressed.
Okay. Built like a brick house.
You have to be some kind of narcissist to snap a pic of yourself. Especially if it's just to show off your muscles.
29th of October.
October 29th.
I don't see why Pharaoh put so much faith in Eridanus. He's nothing more than a big-headed fool. I knew he wouldn't be able to fetch that statuette. What good were all his hypnosis tricks? It would have been a heck of a lot easier just to send me. I'm the strongest and largest in the group after all. A couple of punches and we'd have the relic by now. Alright, so Eridanus is the psychiatrist.
The robbery at my house could have gone way worse, all things considered.
Ritual instructions. Each initiate must correctly align elements beneath the statue representing their mask, as well as a number that marks their position in the monthly ritual. Position, name, role, codename, hieroglyph.
What nonsense are they talking about now?
I'm starting to piece it together. We just need everyone's, like, names and code names. So Eridanus is psychiatrist. I don't know why I'm not writing this stuff down, though. Like, but it should be fine.
An archaeologist's office for sure.
In Egyptian hieroglyphs, the direction of figure's face determines... Oh, the direction of the figure's face determines the opposite reading direction, a subtle guide for the reader's eye to navigate realms hidden in stone. Thus, if the characters face right, the text is read from right to left. Conversely, if they face left, the text is read left to right. That's good to know. Even though the savage traditions disgust me, I have no choice but to accept them. It's in German as well. Auch wenn mich diese wilden Traditionen anwidern, bleibt mir nichts anderes übrig als sie zu akzeptieren, which is yeah, that's what that bit says there. There we go. The German as well. Hidden Legacy of Kefnes. Oh, Caleb Brown. Oh, it's a book by Caleb Brown. Is he the archaeologist or the government agent? No, Caleb Brown's the pharaoh, isn't he? So we're going to have to remember this for these hieroglyphics. If they're facing that way, then you read them right to left. They all seem to be facing that way. So, okay. Oh. Did we comment on this?
There's something written in German in these pages.
Although Harry's German was a bit rusty, he understood what it meant.
That explains why we know we can translate it as well.
This must be the group's official photographer.
Okay.
This guy has been all over the world.
Another door. Rodrigo, do not ever address me as Larry during the rituals again. Proper names are strictly forbidden within these walls. Consider this your final warning. Links.
The letter laid bare the bad blood between some of the cult members. Something pretty common when power-hungry fanatics are involved.
So, Origa is the guy whose office we're in now. Links is Larry, though. We don't know who he is, though. We've got that roll of film, haven't we? He's got his red room here.
Trays with various chemical substances. They even have the molecular structures written on the bottles.
Okay. Na sodium, isn't it? I mean, we did get the thing telling us what order to do it in. Oh, and you can bin it.
A bin full of discarded prints.
Right. I do feel like it's not as good at writing stuff down these days, like compared to the previous one. So in the biologist's room. Developer stop bath fixer. And you can see OH is the developer. That's a little bit of that. Why don't we write this down? The developer is the first one. Stop bath is that one. And fixer is the other one. Not really an issue, it's just more a case of I'm used to it being written down more from Call of the Sea. There's a lot more thorough with the journal. Okay. So we shine that. Grab our print. Do the developer first. Then we do that. Then we do that. Okay. You can kind of see here the masks. So the woman is like the cat, the lion. This guy is Horus. We got Anubis and is it Sebek? We got them already with their masks on.
Good. I've developed the photo.
Okay. So again, we don't draw that down. I know this is like Nora drawing this, like writing in the journal for our sakes, but yeah, we'll come back here if we want to. I should probably get my own notepad, make some notes. Okay. And the astronomer?
This looks like an astronomer's office.
Think of the code name for the new member. What do you think of Orion? If we also assign him the hieroglyph we discussed, his symbol would match his mask just as yours does. Let me know what you think. After all, astronomy is your domain, Pharaoh. He wants those. Okay. We note that down? We did not note that down. Okay. Okay. Akhet, the season of the Nile's flooding. Perret, the season of emergence or crop growth. And Shemu, the season of harvest.
This book seems to recount traditions of ancient Egypt.
Okay. Flooding, crop growth, season of harvest. And instruction. Okay. Very culty.
Different constellations.
Riga,
Take a good eye to locate all of them in the night sky.
Orion, Lynx, and Corvus. Okay, so you got the seasons. Akhet, Perret, Shemu. They'd have 3 seasons, it seems. But 12. 3 seasons, but 12 months. And their months would be a little bit shorter. Okay. I hope I'm not meant to remember all this. Alright, let's, we're gonna be running back and forth for this, I think. Okay. I like this as a puzzle. I just don't get why a lot of it is there. So we know the psychiatrist is Eridanus. Patricia is the only female, I'm guessing. Which, yeah, last time I had to go last and I didn't like it. Right. Not too sure on the hieroglyphs yet. We know the cat here. We don't know what season yet. That's probably Patricia. Biologist. It's probably Corvus. I don't think she's Lynx. We know not Eridanus or Auriga. It's probably Corvus. And then... that's the bit I'm not sure about. Corvus is like a bird, isn't it? What else do we know? We know
A statue of Horus.
order and justice.
Bastard. Goddess of
Protection and love.
protection and love. Anubis. Egyptian god of the underworld. That is Sobek. God of fertility and life and lord of the Nile. Thoth. God of intelligence and magic.
Obviously, again, we don't have that. Don't have that picture. There's gonna be a lot of back and forward. Or we should take some screenshots. Obviously, this relates to their seasons, I'm guessing. So depending on what their like hieroglyph is, they'll have a season next to it, which will then determine whether they're 1, 2, 3, or 4, maybe.
Heaven's sake. These kooks really are obsessed with ancient Egypt.
I might have to open that as a screenshot. And that as a screenshot. I think I have the code name for the new member. What do you think of Orion? If we also assign him the hieroglyph we discussed, his symbol would match his mask, just as yours does. So if we... so... you got the crocodile and the bird. You circle both.
Different constellations. It would take a good eye to locate all of them in the night sky.
So the astronomer is probably... guess can we find that? It's like the bowl crocodile foot. And the newest member? Right there. It is. It's different order though, isn't it? Not sure how you'd read it, to be honest.
A black statue of a pharaoh. I don't know which one it represents, but it's unsettling to say the least.
Right. That's fine. Got that. Curious if I've missed anything else, but it's quite obvious normally when there is something there. It was on the 28th of October, sorry. So it literally just had this yesterday. It's 29th today, isn't it? Howard could be the astronomer. I don't know. We know this guy is Eridanus. Like code name. I don't quite know what his thing would be though. And Eugene Kingsley.
This metronome still makes my skin crawl.
About time. We know he's going to be next to him. Next to...
Pharaoh already
Orion.
announced the ritual positions. I'll have to be next to Orion nearly all year.
Harry immediately recognized the voice of Dr. Frog in the Throat.
I've always despised spoiled rich kids, and Orion's no exception. I'll have to pretend I tolerate him, but luckily I'm fairly skilled at pretending.
Okay. So Orion is probably this guy. Definitely the fancier office. Very muscular. Obviously, Eridanus is the psychiatrist. That's all fine. You should start falling into place, I guess. The only other thing I want to check is that photo. I think Sobek's the strong muscular guy then? Which means this guy's the old man, the Anubis, Eridanus. Trying to piece it together based on what I know he looks like, you know what I mean? It's quite a cool puzzle. It's more just annoying that I'm obviously missing some stuff because these things are being like labeled but not filling in for some reason. I don't know if that's a bug or I'm just not looking at things the right way. Hieroglyphs I'm pretty stuck with at the moment. Right. Strongman. I have no idea what the numbers mean. Maybe just their order of their members. I think Felix. Dilettante. Orion. Don't know what the number is. I think they're all going to be... The bottom hieroglyph's going to just match the bird, right? which bird though. I think he's that type of bird, isn't he? But then we got two birds. Wait, there's no cats though, is there? What would her hieroglyph be? Maybe that one? And there's no dog, so my reasoning here is broken. There is 5, so there's a unique one of each one. Alright. I don't know what the order is. But then this is Eugene. Psychiatrist. Eridanus. I don't know where we get the order from. She was in the picture. Picture. That means this person is the photographer. Are they the archaeologist? The photos? Larry, maybe? I might be well off on these. Which means this guy is Howard, the astronomer. Would be Origo. Doesn't sound very like Felix sounds more German, to be fair. Maybe Howard's the dilettante. I mean, that's very much like just stereotyping there. Don't know many Germans that are called Howard though. He also looks younger from the photo. Might be well off. Well, yeah. I feel like I'm missing a room. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm missing a substantial amount of clues. My book's hardly filled in. Missing something here. Missing something here, apparently, between these pages. Nothing in this room. Okay.
Apparently, the only way to get into the Pharaoh's office is by getting the right combination on the statues downstairs. Apparently, the only way to get into the Pharaoh's office is by getting the right combination on the statues downstairs. And I bet my life that Pharaoh is Caleb Bowen. Apparently, the...
Right. That's fine. Looked at that already. Looked at that already. This all opened up. That's what I mean. I feel like I'm really missing something. Looked at that as well. sweetheart. So positions are obviously the 1 to 5. She used to be 5th. She's now no longer 5th. Maybe she's 4th. And obviously the psychiatrist mentions he's got to be next to Orion, which is then 3 and 4. I don't know. Like it's right under my nose. But yeah, Eugene Kingsley, we got it all official there. So we know Eugene is Eridamus, and he's the psychiatrist. Like solid, not a problem. And we know the biologist, who's the only woman. She's the cat. She's in the photo. She's the biologist, and she's not last. So we know she's 5th, not 5th. Sorry. This guy is the... Yeah.
What nonsense are they talking about now?
I think this is the... Yeah, this is the descent. I feel like this would be the newbie. Who's there, not on merit, but just because he's got money. Makes sense this guy would be Sobek. Again, there's no other little clues or drawers or anything.
This fella clearly has expensive tastes. I'm impressed.
Right. Yeah, the archaeologist is a photographer. That's why he's not in the photo. So the easiest, because he's too busy taking the photo. So he is... Go back to this photo. Again, I don't know why we have to pin it on the wall. It should be like pinned in our book.
Good. I've developed the photo.
You can't like pick stuff up. So biggest and strongest, Sobek. We got Anubis as the old man. Eugene Eridamus. This guy has to be the astronomer, which I think is Howard. And he's got the eagle beak, which means the stork is the photographer, is the archaeologist. And then obviously the woman, Patricia, wearing the cat costume there. So, yeah. Again, absolutely fine with that. It's cool that they actually like dress up in their little masks and everything as well. Okay. That photo upside down, isn't it? Okay. More film.
A bin full of discarded prints.
Can't rummage through those. Alright. So that means, unless he wrote this letter and didn't send it out, the archaeologist is called Auriga. Lynx and Larry are the same person. Was Larry the rich kid? I don't know. still don't know what these means though, like what this is, but okay, let's update what we know. Guess I'm missing something and I'm making this much harder than it needs to be. So yeah, this is what we've got wrong. Auriga is the archaeologist, not called Larry. Probably called Felix. Don't know what order they're in. But that's there. And I think Larry's the astronomer. The one with the black hair standing there, holding his mask away. Patricia with the cat. And it's probably just Corvus by default. We haven't heard anyone be called Corvus yet. Obviously Eugene, psychiatrist, Eridanus. We know she's not last. And then Howard, Dilettante, is he the new one? Like I said, I don't quite understand the hieroglyphs. I understand we've got to read them right to left. Because I don't actually know what these say. And I've got to get my screenshot up. But yeah, psychiatrist this year, I'm almost always next to Orion in the ritual. I've always despised rich kids. So that'll be Dilettante. I feel like we're missing so much. I don't know where those would be.
Thoth, god of intelligence and magic. A statue of Horus. Egyptian god of order and justice. Bastet, goddess of protection and love. Anubis, Egyptian god of the underworld. That is Sobek, god of fertility and life and lord of the Nile.
See, if she wasn't holding it, I probably would have put her as Sobek. More so just because biology, life, all that kind of stuff, but yeah. However, in the astronomer's office, the note, he's saying this to, let's say Larry, the Lynx. Yeah, the new member is Orion, who will be a crocodile. Sobek. The symbol would match his mask. I don't actually know what these mean. That's the thing. Yeah. Okay, let's... I'm just gonna have a quick look. Yeah, I think this is bugged. Okay, yeah. So, on the Steam discussions, apparently in Chapter 3, there is currently a bug where it doesn't fill in this stuff. So it should have. I saw Patricia's one. It says Patricia Seckles, let's grab a drink outside, signed Howard, and then I hate being last in the previous rotation, 10, 28, 57. So it's nothing huge. It just means that normally we wouldn't need to be backtracking. It's meant to be working. It's just not. So, yeah. These look very suspicious as well, don't they? These little cats. But yeah, we can't open this, can we? No. Very hopeful. So although, like I said, it's not in our book, it's not, I didn't really see the rest, but it's not, it's not actually a lot of helpful stuff, really. I need to figure out the order. Like I said, I'm purely on a name basis side of things. Felix is a lot more of a German name than Larry, Howard, and we know it's not Eugene. So we know this is Felix. He's the archaeologist and photographer. He had the note on his desk addressed to Auriga. And yeah, I think that's as good as we've got. So I guess now the question is still with the hieroglyphs. Which we actually do have in our book, which is nice. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the seasons, isn't it? Let me grab my screenshot quick. Let me open my screenshots folder. Because we should have that in our book, but we don't. Let me open that there. Okay. I don't think you guys can see this, but I have the seasons and the season screenshot. So that is all good. So Arquette is these three. That's August, September, October, November. This one is Perret. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Shemu. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we know 28th of October is the third Akhet, because that's October 28th to November 27th. They literally just started the ritual. I don't know what. So let's just say like first Akhet here, which is August 29th to September 27th, this top one. What does it mean? So, okay, we know it's the season of the Nile's flooding. That's what it says in that hieroglyph book. We know you read it right to left. That's the order, isn't it? These are the five. This is the order. So, Crocodile Man is first. Eugene, for once, isn't last. No, sorry. Patricia hated being last in the previous rotation, which is her there, which is what we have, isn't it? So this time around, she is second. I think. Assuming I think she is that symbol, and I think she is Corvus, just because there's a lack of any other mention of Corvus. We know Larry is Lynx. We know Felix is Auriga. We don't know Howard is Orion, but we know Howard's a male, and Orion's the new member. We know Eugene is Eridanus. That means Patricia needs to be Corvus and needs to have that one. We also know it's not a rule that they have to have their animal as their hieroglyph, like Patricia. But he specifically mentions the crocodile with the bird, which means Lynx. Could be last. Could be fifth. She's second. Means Orion is first. Which means Eugene doesn't like being next to him. Oh, it can't be. Interesting. I mean, could it be the astronomer is Sobek? No, I think the astronomer. I think Larry. Assuming it's at Larry. Is here. Means he can't be next to Orion though. Oh, he's not though, because Orion is... I know, but he needs to be. This is the bit where I'm like, okay, I'm right here. Reason why is because psychiatrist Anubis says he's got to be next to Orion, right? I'm just speaking this out loud at this point. He says he needs to be next to, like, he's got to be next to Orion. He doesn't like it. Blah, 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 blah. For this cycle, which has just began on the 28th. Obviously, we're now on the 29th. Let's listen to that tape.
Pharaoh already announced the ritual positions. I'll have to be next to Orion nearly all year.
Harry immediately recognized the voice of Dr. Frog in the Throat.
I've always despised spoiled rich kids, and Orion's no exception. I'll have to pretend I tolerate him, but luckily I'm fairly skilled at pretending.
Teddy's almost always next to Orion. So let's say Orion is the crocodile. Okay. I think we have got that right, actually. It does happen quite a lot. Okay. That does give me a little bit of confidence. Okay. Quite a hard puzzle. Like I said, I don't think it's difficult from the sake of, oh, because the journal's not working. So that's just more of a convenience. I'm also not piecing together all the right info. Obviously, we know Eridanus failed to get the statuette. Pretty secure on him. It's Howard and Larry. That's the... And the Orion. We know Felix is a Riga. I think we're completely fine with him. Might just be his hieroglyph. Astronomer. I think it makes sense that he's the bird. I think it does make sense. I don't know. These are the only two that match their symbols. So if the bird's the new one, but he's the big strong one, isn't he? And we know from the photo from Felix that he is not. This is not the strong guy. The bird has to be astronomer. He has to be Orion. I think we have got this. I think we've got it. Like I said, made it a little bit harder, but by the fact that we don't have the... We've got a bugged journal for some reason, which is a shame. I'm surprised it's still bugged, like, a couple of weeks after release. This would have been hot patched like quicker. Right. That means Larry is 5th. Yeah. Crocodile's 1. I think this guy... I think Eugene, therefore, he is next to him most of the time. Eugene is free on this occasion, but will end up being him most of the time. Which means if we have 1, 2, 3, and 5, means he's got to be 4, which means he's got to be the little bird one.
Damn it didn't work. I need to go over it again.
Okay. Not Larry the Lynx though, is it? I'm so adamant the names are right, but they're obviously not. I don't know what I would change. I think we're completely happy with Eridanus, because he's next to him most of the time, which is what his point of frustration is. Actually, 2 there. Like a bug, isn't it? Or a mistake? There's no astronomer on that one. That's an error. Yeah. So it is once, twice, 3, 4, 5. And then actually 5 times, isn't it? Right, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Might actually be that he's that one. He's that one. Which would change the order to be 3 and 4 just need to be mixed around, maybe. There we go. That's quite a cool puzzle.
It must be the access to Bowen's office. Evangeline has to be there. I'm sure of it.
What about the room up top? Do you not? It's in the middle. And what is this one? Sorry, his eyes just went red at me then. Okay. Where is that the elevator? Oh, it might actually be the elevator. Okay.
As he rode the elevator up, Harry regretted not bringing a weapon. What if Bowen was still up there?
All right.
Okay.
Let's see what you're hiding here, you scoundrel. Well, looks like they give this medal to just about anyone.
Extraordinary service and dedication in the Office of Strategic Services. Okay. Base at Spitzberger. Auriga said they're keeping one of those creatures frozen in the ice. Maybe we can communicate with it. The girl with Everhart understands its language.
Spitzbergen. That's the place in Norway Evangeline mentioned.
Can't see close if you can see that creature with the 3 red eyes that we saw in the dream. Fenez, the Egyptian priest, holds the method to activate the shining trapezohedron. The consciousness exchange will let me access the arcane knowledge lost to time.
Consciousness exchange? Is he talking about mind swapping? So the cult was on the expedition along with Peasley. How long have they been behind all this?
Right. Okay, they've all were involved with it. Narcotic site confirmed, very useful information. Fornax died from complications after retrieving the statuette. Icor is dangerous. We need to decipher the manuscripts. How, who. So Fornax might have been an old member who's now been replaced.
Apparently that John Teague was Fornax, another cult member.
Narcotic ruins, matching structures in the caves of Rappahannock River, Virginia. Where is the city? Anything in the drawers? Oh. Bowen, I confirm that we will bring Felix Stahl to America. We'll do so under Operation Paperclip. However, you need to put aside all those esoteric nonsense. It makes you lose credibility with the people in Washington. Sincerely, Van Hevon Brown.
I knew Bowen would never abandon his Nazi pals.
That's the guy's the photographer and archaeologist. Unravel the mysteries of the shining Trapsahedron. Bring forth the Black Man. Depart for the throne of Azathoth at the center of final chaos.
That doesn't sound good at all. And what's this Azathoth business?
Caleb, a true American patriot. Joe.
Say, isn't that Senator McCarthy?
What are these little cat statues again? Okay. Dr. West. Okay. A human name in manuscripts from 250 million years ago. Possible.
Dr. West? This creature seems vaguely familiar.
Am I getting any more notes? No, I feel like my notes have just broken now, sadly. Oh no. This looks like this opens. Wait. Oh, I heard something. Yeah, there's something here. Here as well. Ah. Oh. One on the other side. There we go.
Bowen is paranoid. A secret area in the secret back room of his secret office.
Hmm. Oh. The man behind the curtain achievement. There we go. Enoch Bowen.
Enoch
Shining...
Bowen
yeah,
and
okay.
the shining Trapezahedron.
It's hot levitating there, isn't it?
Josephine Kerwin. She who transcends beyond death. It can't be. That's Cass.
Ah, yes. That was the confirmation of something Harry had long suspected. Bowen never admitted it, but he had sabotaged Harry's expedition.
Wait, so she...
Josephine Kerwin. She who transcends beyond death. It can't be. That's
She was the reporter.
Ah, yes. That was the confirmation of something Harry had long suspected. Bowen never admitted it, but he had sabotaged Harry's expedition.
What is that? Some kind of odd crystal.
Harry sensed that the Trapezahedron, glowing with a strange light, held immense power. A power that would be very dangerous if unleashed. And although he felt the urge to touch it, he decided it was better not to.
Yeah, probably for the best. Okay.
Evangeline had to be on the other side of that door, no doubt about it. But Harry stopped before entering. Was there anything left for him to find in Caleb Bowen's office?
Oh, okay. You get like a point of no return. I don't think so. Let's go inside.
Please be all right, Evangeline. Let's go, Miss Drayton. We have to get out of here.
Oh, they just left it there.
Look, it's the engineer. I've seen one of those creatures before. In my dreams. In the Stone City, in the jungle. He spoke to me in my dreams, Professor. I have
Forget about it, Miss Drayton. We have to call the police and...
Calling the police won't do any good, Professor. We have to go to Spitzbergen. I need to talk with him, with the great engineer.
Miss Drayton, don't you realize this doesn't make any sense? We can't chase Bowen and his...
No, you don't understand. Bowen isn't in Spitsbergen. He's on his way to the city, on his way to Nakotis.
Harry couldn't believe what he had just heard. Evangeline had mentioned a place he had known in dreams, long ago. So long ago, he had nearly forgotten it.
I had a strange dream today. I was inside a vast library and gazed at vistas of another world.
All these questions came crashing down on Harry. And suddenly, he wasn't so convinced anymore.
Complete chapter 3.
Before boarding the plane to Norway, Evie and Harry talked about the trip. About where they'd be stopping over. About what they'd do once they got to Spitsbergen. They talked about bringing plenty of warm clothing and gear and supplies to make it through. They talked about getting their documents and passports in order. They even talked about the strange city they had both dreamt of. But Evie knew there was something they hadn't talked about. A question she didn't know how to ask the professor, because every time she'd tried, the right words never came out. But a long flight leaves plenty of time.
This is very
to
Indiana
think.
Jones, isn't it?
Professor?
Yes?
When I was
Cool.
being held by that man, Bowen, he showed me a picture of you. A picture of you and my father in the Pacific. Did you know my father, Professor?
And then, it was Harry who didn't know how to find the right words. Because even though he'd been waiting years for that question, he still didn't know how to answer it. Evie took Harry's silence as a yes.
How come you never told me you knew my father?
You never asked.
That's a cop-out.
What do you mean, I never asked? What kind of an answer is that?
Evie was furious. That petty, childish excuse didn't suit the professor at all.
Look, I wanted to.
You wanted what? Just talk, for God's sake.
All right. I'll explain everything.
Good. We've got plenty of time to spare before we land.
My wife, Nora, was diagnosed with an incurable disease. The same hereditary illness of unknown origin that had struck her mother before her. The doctors had no answer. So I decided to find it myself. I never imagined the answer would take me so far away. To a remote island in the Pacific. Back then, I didn't have the financial independence I have now. So I had to raise money and put a team together. Do you remember the night before your father left for work in San Francisco? You were probably 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, God. Yes, I remember. I remember a beautiful, dark-haired woman, a nervous, scrawny guy, and a man who seemed really happy about something.
I'll never forget those words. You're a whiz, mister. Would you be interested, by any chance, in an exciting job opportunity in the Pacific? That's right. Frank agreed to come with us to the island. It pained him to leave you and your mother back in Mississippi, but he needed the money and I was paying very well. But that island wasn't what we expected. There was something there that... Let's just say there are forces in this world that mankind ought not to meddle with, Miss Drayton. Things like the Black Ooze, and on that island, it was everywhere. I told you, it's the most dangerous substance I've ever come across. We found that out when one of the expedition members came into contact with it. It was him, driven mad, who attacked your father. Just a shallow cut with an ancient dagger, but enough to infect him with that black liquid. That is what took Frank's life. I did what I could to look after him, but that infection, it was beyond anything I could handle. His final words still haunt me. Harry, please look after my wife and my little girl. And that's what I've been trying to do all these years, though evidently not as well as I might have done.
Evie was speechless. She could not believe it.
Take care of me? What are you talking about? I just met you a week ago. I've never had anyone except my mother. And the only help we ever got was from the insurance checks. What kind of help are you—
There was no insurance, Evangeline.
What?
Harry decided that since he'd started telling the truth, he wouldn't stop halfway.
I am the Hydrangea Foundation. Hydrangeas were just Nora's favorite flowers, that's all.
And then, Evie understood. She understood the strange and painful sacrifice that man had made.
I wasn't the one who drove that dagger into your father, but I dragged him to that island and didn't listen when he told me we had to leave.
Harry had spent a long time avoiding the truth of what had happened nearly 30 years before, on that island in the Pacific. But for the first time in ages, he was forced to face it.
So yes, your father died because of me. I can't tell you how sorry I am. I won't be so foolish as to ask for your forgiveness. I know I have no right to it. I understand how you must feel now. I understand that you hate me.
So it's not really his fault. The dad did go.
Maybe you have no right to ask for it, but I forgive you, Professor.
You forgive me? But why?
Well, first of all, I'm a Christian, so I believe in forgiveness and everything that comes with it. And second, because we all make mistakes, Professor. You've made plenty of them. Grave mistakes that came at a high price. But it's not up to me to judge you. Maybe you should forgive yourself, Professor. You've been torturing yourself for 23 years. Isn't that enough self-punishment?
Harry was puzzled. He hadn't expected this. In a strange way, Evie's forgiveness made him feel uncomfortable. Didn't he deserve punishment for what he'd done? Evie's decision had made him doubt. Perhaps it was time to move on.
I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I'm sure I am. Believe me.
And after that, Evie and Harry remained silent for the rest of the flight. Despite having talked about it, Evangeline and Harry were not prepared for the freezing cold they would face on that remote Norwegian island. Although weather would be the least of their problems in that place.
Alright. On an expedition.
God, this is unbearable. Professor, are you sure you're all right? You should have brought a couple more layers.
Don't worry, Miss Drayton. I'll be fine.
Harry hadn't always been like that. He used to like heat. But 3 months stranded on a Pacific island had changed his preferences.
What we saw in Bowen's office? The Black Pharaoh, Azathoth, and all that? What do you think it means?
Just the ramblings of a madman, I'm sure of it. I'm actually more worried about the other things. Spitsbergen, the statue, your memory loss, and your dreams about that creature. Too much of a coincidence, isn't it? This sign, it's written in Norwegian. I guess we're close.
Access forbidden.
Do you really believe it's possible to switch minds?
Honestly, Miss Drayton, I have no clue what we're dealing with. But whatever it is, we'd better stop Bowen as soon as possible.
She coming? She waiting to teleport.
Here it is, the radio station.
Okay. Is my thing fixed yet? No.
The storm is getting stronger.
We'd better stay close to each other, Professor.
It's fenced off.
This looks like the station's garage. I wonder why they left vehicles in here.
Maybe they...
It's not working.
Okay.
The entry post is completely wrecked. What happened here? There are way too many beds for a simple radio station.
That would back up what Bowen said. That this place was just a cover-up.
Thick and boring German book written about horrible things, unspeakable cults. Aussprechliche Kulten.
A book titled The Unspeakable Cults doesn't sound like a very pleasant read. It's no use. This switch is completely wrecked. The mess hall, or what's left of it.
Ein Volk. This is like a Nazi base. Stille unten, dort oben.
It's not working.
Okay, I'm guessing it's the building over here on the right then.
This must be the generator room, but it's locked.
Okay.
I can see some
tower,
banners
then.
on the building. They look like... Oh.
Nazis. I hate these guys.
That's good. Get out of my way. Is it locked?
Just as I thought. No power in here.
We should look for the key to that generator room. It must be around here somewhere.
Oh, they've got... Oh. Has he got the ichor in his
Might
eyes?
come in handy, but not right now. I need to get the power on in here first. Interesting. Very interesting. But it won't help me bring the power back on.
Okay. Find a key first.
Not yet. I've got to get the generator running before I can get any work done.
Alright, won't let us do anything.
All of these rusty gadgets are useless.
Can you open this?
No, the door won't budge.
No, okay.
I'll have to take a look at it later. Right now,
We do have a
I
flashlight.
need to get the power running in this station.
Conversely, in the first game, you didn't have to turn on the power. You could just read all the notes in the dark, but I guess they've adjusted that this time around. Go grab that key, wherever it is.
Not yet. I've got to get the generator running before I can get any work done.
Okay, can't look at any of these.
This might come in handy, but not right now. I need to get the power on in here first. Evangeline, I see a...
Harry hesitated to say the words because of how absurd they might sound.
space ship of some sort?
A spaceship? You mean like a flying saucer?
Not quite. Where the hell's the key? Huh. Okay. Must be downstairs as we go in then. And I've missed it.
This
Literally
must
right
be
there.
the key to the generator room.
Right. Let's go and do that. We can turn that on.
Look, seems this generator was meant to power the whole facility. Try turning it on, Professor.
Hey, what the...
The current must have caused a power surge in that distribution panel up there. Let me take a look. Maybe I can fix it. Okay.
Ah, so we now swap to the Eevee now.
Darn it. This fuse box is sealed. You don't happen to have a screwdriver on you, do you?
No, sorry, I left it in my other coat. With the field microscope, the flare gun, and the cannonball.
Perfect. This'll do. An old fuse box. And it looks like it still works. Even after years under this weather.
Never doubt German engineering. What's the problem?
Well, the whole base runs on an interlock circuit.
What does that mean? I know nothing of technical stuff and you know it.
It means that for the power to reach the antenna, you'll have to manually turn on each switch in order.
You mean I have to look for switches all over the base?
That's right. I'll route the power from this fuse box, and then you turn it on.
Fine. Stay put. I'll get back to you.
And press R to switch character. Okay. The antenna's the last one.
It's not working.
Your turn, Evangeline.
What?
Up to you now, Professor.
Have to go out to the tower first. Was there a switch on there? Oh, there was a switch in here, wasn't there? Yeah, okay. This should work, right?
Good. I managed to turn this thing on. Evangeline.
Okay.
Your turn, Professor.
Let me try that one we were just doing. That other one's fallen off the wall. Shouldn't be a problem because I guess that's why we can bypass it.
Good. I managed to turn this thing on. Evangeline, try another switch.
Okay.
This one's going into this one. I don't think... Have we been in here? I don't think we have we?
Please, by all means.
You're in charge now.
Good. I managed to turn this thing on. Evangeline, try another switch.
Okay.
It's up to you now, Evangeline.
So it should just
Up
be
to you now, Professor.
the antenna. We go. Makes sense why Evangeline didn't come out here with us then.
Yes, we did it.
We're good. Power's on. I'm heading back to the antenna, Professor.
Okay, Evangeline.
Okay, so we can just get back down and explore now, I guess, now that we've got the lights on with everything.
Huh. Wasn't expecting to see one of these here.
What are you talking about?
It's an Enigma machine. A message encryption device the Nazis used to encode top-secret messages.
But how could you possibly know that?
I worked in intelligence during World War II. Obviously,
That's a
I was
flashback.
too old to
15
be
years
sent
ago.
to the front lines. And I can't see a thing without my glasses. But the OSS thought someone like me could be useful cracking codes. So they sent me to Fort Meade, Maryland. To the Signal Security Agency building.
It's obviously after Nora had already left and all that kind of stuff. Be a patriot. Join the army.
Russell's desk is always a mess. He's probably on a cigarette break. Hendricks requested a transfer to Europe last week. He's a man of action, no doubt about it.
Classified information. Set the Enigma machine for the following message. Obviously, it's 3 letters.
This is the message that needs to be deciphered.
Okay. It's actually part Buckinghamshire. Buckinghamshire. Dear Professor Everhart, enclosed you will find the revised procedure for decrypting the latest Enigma intercepts, as well as the sample code. Pay particular attention to rotor settings and begin with yesterday's indicator group. The bloodboard configuration will change. See attached cipher sheet. Yours sincerely, Alan Turing.
I don't rightly know what we'd have done without Turing and his people over at Bletchley Park.
Find Everhart to the victory, Nora.
I really doubt this is how Nora pictures my work here at Fort Meade, but she does love to tease me.
Wait, I thought the thing was in 1934. Like, Call of the Sea. Was it not? I'm confused here because Call of the Sea is in 1934. Call of the Elder Gods is 1956. 15 years ago would be 1941. Nora couldn't have drawn that, right? She didn't even know World War II would happen. When did World War II start? Was that 1937? I can't remember. Check the first 3 letters of the message to decrypt and find them in column 5. Configure the machine with the elements from that row. Column 1 allows you to check the day the message was sent. Check the first 3 letters of the message. And find them in column 5. FHP. FHP is there. Column 1 allows you to check the day the message was sent. 13th. Okay.
Enigma decoding instructions.
Pretty cool, really. Wasn't the Enigma 5 letters, though? Or was it 3? I don't know. Or was that a different code break?
Ah, I always keep this photograph close.
Cipher message reader. Interchangeable rotor discs. You got the main dial. Front cover. Cable pairing. And initiate decryption process.
Ah, the set of components that makes Enigma's encryption possible. We worked hand in hand with the Brits. They'd already managed to crack Enigma, so we hoped their work could help us break JN-25, the Japanese naval encryption system.
Mm. Oh, it's very bugged. Okay. Not remembering any of it. That's gonna make this very difficult. So GMR means 25. 312 on the discs. The elements from that row, you do. Do we care about the column 1 then? So yeah, GMR, Should be 15.26.1. 312. Oh, 312. Gotcha. So, does that mean if it's 312, does that mean it's technically 26.115? Confused by that. I think. Oh, right. Right. So is it is it still 26.115 or not? I haven't a clue. Configure the machine with the elements from that row. So GMR 312 are the disks, and then it should be 15.26.1 UAWF. Um, 15.26.1. Cool. Well done. You have decrypted the message correctly.
Unfortunately, working for the government also means working for the occasional undesirable individual. Yes?
Professor, this is Caleb Bowen speaking.
Bowen?
It's been weeks since the British handed over everything they had on Enigma. Do you know yet if that encryption model will help us decode JN-25? You have to understand, Professor. Washington is starting to get uneasy. I'll try to buy you some time, but I can't assure you anything.
Your professional tone.
There are similarities between both encryption systems, but they're not identical. The Japanese use additive methods, as we've seen in earlier models.
When do you think it will be ready?
Cryptography is not an exact science, Bowen. We're making progress, that's all.
Very well. I'll report that to Washington. Professor, hear me out on this. You're doing an excellent job. But please understand
Listen, Bowen. The only reason I'm doing this is for my country. And one thing's clear to me. The less we deal with each other, the better. So frankly, don't bother trying to butter me up.
Professor, we have more in common than you think. Why do you insist on making us enemies?
Look, no matter how much you try to deny it, I know you're still a damn Nazi. And though I've never been able to prove it, I also know you had something to do with the sabotage of my expedition.
Not at all, Professor. You refused our funding, and that was the end of it.
Right. And you had no prior connection to Miss Cassandra Dexter Ward, is that correct?
As I've already told you 1,000 times, I met Miss Ward when she came to our society with you, asking for money.
So, it was all just a coincidence, right?
Of course. Coincidences do happen, Professor.
Listen to me, you disgusting little man. I have things to attend to. Do us both a favor and don't call again. What a moron.
Mm-hmm. Okay, learned how to decipher messages from the Enigma machine. So we have one here. I guess let's have a look, see what we need this for. I'm guessing we're gonna... Now that the lights are on, we can see everything, so... Let's start over here and work around clockwise. 26th of January 1943. Otto is dead, my good friend consumed by the black floating polyp. Only his shadow remained. The rest of the team insists in halting the project, but I won't do it, not until the orders come directly from Berlin. Otto believed in it, and I believe in it too. ZMP-C is the key for our victory.
Boy, this radio station gets creepier every minute.
Yes, I can feel a shiver down my spine, and it's not the cold.
Mm-hmm. Environment, Unternehmen. Cool. Discovery during Operation Visverable. Captain Felix Stahl. There he is.
Looks like a workers' registry from 1943.
So, Klopke, Honenberg, Adler, Voigt.
That guy with the white hair must be the senior one. What a creepy-looking face he has. A monocle. He must be upper class. This guy looks like a bureaucrat.
Attention everyone, the 10-day rule in the lab code instructions includes the day the message is sent. To avoid further confusion, I've marked the correct dates on the calendar for when the code changes. I expect every general to update the code on their respective dates accordingly. Voigt. Otto Adler. Okay, so Otto is Adler. Dortmund. Okay.
It's the Dienstausweis of an SS Oberstgruppenführer. Some Otto Adler.
English, please?
Oh, sorry, it's the ID of a Nazi general.
That's Otto Adler.
A monocle. He must be upper class.
Yesterday we received code instructions for the laboratory. I might as well just read on the right side. Laboratory's door, but we're still missing the general's assigned numbers. There's somewhat like I can read all of this, other than like I didn't know what that was, which is the assigned numbers of the general. This second sentence, yeah, we'll just stick to this because there's a lot of words I don't know here. Intelligence says they will almost certainly arrive tomorrow. Until then, entrance to ZMP-C is strictly forbidden. Hauptsturmführer Felix Stahl. Okay.
This machinery hasn't been used for years. It's junk.
Okay.
All of these rusty gadgets are useless.
Invoke. What's else going? Okay. So no one suspects what we're doing here. It was Adler who had the idea of hiding the ZNPC beneath a radio antenna. He's the only general who believes in the project. Voigt and Honenberg are just following orders, and Klopke seems more interested in his esoteric charlantry. But Adler trusts that the success of the ZNPC will secure the Reich's victory. If our research is correct, we might be able to turn the course of the war.
What on earth were they doing in this place?
Okay, I guess we'll go upstairs. Because I'm guessing even with the power on, this doesn't open?
No, the door won't budge.
Okay. We can't switch to her either. Like, I guess that was only during that bit. Book is kind of working. For some things. I think there's still a lot that's missing, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because I think there's an achievement for getting all the notes in the journal, but that's not going to happen. Right, we need one of those.
Some sort of cable here.
You know what that's for. Okay. February 1943. Okay. So that's the 28 days in the month.
February 1943.
That's February 43, right?
Correct. Okay.
An encrypted message.
Okay. We got that. We got January.
January 1943. That means January 1943.
Well, yeah. That one's not too hard to guess.
We noted those down. Sadly not.
This encrypted message is rather short. I wonder what it contains.
Okay. So are we missing more, or is it just those two we need to do? Let's start with the short one. I don't know what date that is, but UZW is the start. UZW on the 25th. So that's a 231. Okay. I've got to remember all this. Oh, 231. Right. Fortunately, it's like multiple right clicks to get out of this. Oh, we're missing the first three letters of this one.
No use. It's encrypted.
So 23, 13, 2, and GEFM 23, 13, 2. Can't remember what it was. Is it GEFM? What's that? GEFM. Should have gone my gut there. So G E F M. Also, yeah, quartz as well. Nice little thing there as well. Because obviously, in Germany they have quartz. They don't have QWERTY like we have in the UK. Is this where the keyboard originated from? I mean, this would be an umlaut, wouldn't it? And they have PX YCV ENML. Because this would have been before computers with the keyboard. Is this why we have QWERTY and quartz? Actually, don't know. Don't really know about Enigma machines and all that stuff. Here we go. Okay. Schlussmitteilung. Alle Überlebenden müssen die Station. Final communication. All survivors must leave station ZNP and return to Berlin. This area will be quarantined. Do not expect any more communications. This is the last message that this station will receive. Heil Hitler. Okay. So, just gonna definitely get clipped for saying Heil Hitler now, aren't I? Do not endorse the actions of Hitler. Needless to say. Right, so that's that one translated. I don't know how we do this one, because we're missing the first 3 letters. So, BDA. Let's have a look. I don't know if this is February one. We'll have a look. Okay, yeah, BDA is the January. BDA right at the top on the first. So it's 321 1925 6. I quite like this, getting us to do a little Enigma code breaking. And the letters are PWCR. Should probably watch a film or stuff about this. Should probably know more about this than I actually do. It was our own Alan Turing that did this after all, that decrypted it. Instructions for laboratory encryption codes, the NPC door. Code changes every 10 days starting today. New code is the general's assigned number and current day, 2 digits. Only the current commanding general may initiate the code change. If unavailable, the previous commander is authorized to initiate the code change. Heil Hitler. Right, okay. So... is that then why we need to work out what that one is? Starting today. We don't know what order that one is in though, do we? Obviously we have this. We had 1st of January and 10th. Because this is asking us to work back and say, right, okay, February, like February 9th. There's probably Adler, right? Who's the commander? 19th. So February 19th. FDX. We try that. 213. I don't know if it's right or not. We could assume it's FDX. 213. I mean, it's too smudged, but it kind of looks like a H or an N or something, but I don't know. That's... I don't know what we're basing it off of, that's the thing. The other one is it could be QSD. But yeah, let's do FDX 213, 23, 2015. 23, 2015. 23, 2015. And then we just need those letters. Could be Adler in January as well. I don't know. I'll have a look. New NU and LB. N U L B. Okay. It's not that one.
code. I wonder.
Could that be the code to access the reinforced door, Professor?
The Nazis probably abandoned the base. That's why this message was never received.
Okay.
A reinforced door. Still think this is just a radio station?
All right, I've got to admit,
Okay.
this is weird as hell.
Makes sense. Right, okay. So,
All of these rusty gadgets are useless. Looks like a workers' registry from 1943.
Adler didn't have one during that week. So it could be Voight on the 20th of January. I could just say my own language. Right. Let's see what January 20th has. GFC. I also don't think it looks like a GFC, but 312. I might be like well off here. That's my only problem. I don't know if this is how I'm meant to be going about it. I'm gonna assume it's the 20th of January. Um 6/18/12 Yayum. 6/18/12. Yay. It looks like a W. Can't zoom in more. It does. It's got the two little feet there and the three. Okay, ends in a W. We might actually have to just guess on these. Oh no. Plenty. Okay. On these dates, there'll be one that ends in a W. 1, 10, or 30. So 1, 10, 30. No. Okay. 9 and 19. Let's have a look. 9. No, okay, never mind. Okay, I'm fresh out of ideas with this then. What? Okay. Is there like another card I'm missing or something? It's like... Okay. The code changes every 10 days. So it's the general's assigned number. And the current day as 2 digits. Do we know what today's date is?
A code. I wonder.
Could that be the code to access the reinforced door, Professor?
It's the Dienstausweis of an SS Oberstgruppenführer. Some Otto Adler.
English, please?
Oh, sorry, it's the ID of a Nazi general.
Okay, let's... need to have a look at that card again. There's nothing else down here that we can interact with, and there's no extra cards. Starting today. I can actually zoom in. How close is this though? It looks like it's curved, but I don't know if it's it could be a C. It could also be an S. It narrows it down a little bit. Right, let's try. I don't know how you're meant to know that. I mean, presumably it would put something in my notes. I think I've been really like screwed over with this, unfortunately, and I don't think there's a way to fix it. Which is frustrating. I mean, this is SSW. It doesn't. I don't think it would be JW. I mean, that is curved a little bit. B could be BW as well. Let's try SSW. So 1, 3, 2. 15, 25, 25. All right. 15, 25, 25. And then letters ZHP. ZIHP. ZI. HP. Let's try this one. Third time lucky. There we go. Okay. Tried a few. Identification number for the generals 37, 54, 83 and 95. We've got Otto Adler, Gustav Voigt, Wilhelm Klopke and Friedrich Honenberg. Friedrich. Yeah, Friedrich. Okay. New code. General assigned number and current day. Only the current commanding general may initiate the code change. If unavailable, the previous commander is authorized. That being Adler. Oh no, because he's got his... Adler's dead, right? That's his Jesus. This is
It's the Dienstausweis of an SS Oberstgruppenführer. Some Otto Adler.
English, please?
Oh, sorry, it's the ID of a Nazi general.
Oh, it's not a... Is it a death pass?
What a creepy looking face he has. That guy with the white hair must be the senior one.
Oh, so annoying it hasn't saved any of the numbers. But that is going to make me more stuck on this than I should do, because Normally it gives you little hints, doesn't it? There clearly was never a March one. They left. And we kind of made the comment, didn't we, that they didn't get this message. Which was a UZW in February. Which is the 25th. They did not get that message. So Adler. But Adler's... I need to look that up in... It says it's an ID. But... One sec. German to English. Ungehörige. If berechtigt Waffen zu fragen. He's entitled to ask questions. Oh no, it is. It's not a deaf thing. Okay. Yeah, so Otto Adler was the group leader. Das weiß number. So it should be Otto's number and 19 then. 10-day rule. So obviously Voight is that guy then, maybe. No, Otto is dead. I thought I knew Otto was dead. I was like, consume. Yeah, okay. He was taken by the Ichor. He died 26th of January. It's got to be Honenberg. Right, okay. I mean, that's the thing, is that it wants you to be like, oh, it's Adler 19. But, like 8319, I think it's 9519. Honenberg. Is it right to left or? $95. There we go.
At last, we did it, Evangeline.
We have an elevator. Elevator, engine, humming.
So the station was just a cover-up. But I wonder what for.
Whatever it is, we're going to find out. And soon.
Oh.
Harry tried to keep his composure when he saw the oily shadow. He didn't want to alarm Evie.
Can she see this as well? No?
Let us out.
They locked their own people in here. How could they?
They're Nazis, Evangeline. They're not exactly the good guys.
Just drop them down here.
think we'll find that great engineer of yours down here?
I hope so. This trip will have been a total waste of money.
But Edie suspected there was much more at stake than the cost of their trip.
We've got Time Navigation Project Kronos, engineer Albert Damaya. According to our monitoring, the creature remains alive despite having been trapped in the ice for millennia. And according to Dr. Schultz, it responds to stimuli but resists communication. It only repeats that name over and over again. It sounds human, Dr. West. We need to bring in a linguistics expert to verify it.
It references a creature. You think that might be your great engineer?
Yes, sounds like it.
Oh, there you go. Please bear with me as well. I think my voice is going. Dr. Reinhard Schultz. After the last experiment, following the change of state, the black liquid evaporated, forming some kind of gaseous polyp. This confirms that the black substance is unstable. Its state changes depending on the different sound frequencies. But now we've managed to contain it inside the chamber, we need to test it further.
A liquid that reacts to sound, like in the Rappahannock River caves.
Harry held his breath. The black shadows were back again. But then...
What the hell is that thing?
You can see that too?
That sort of cloud of black smoke? Of course. It looks
She's not even
alive.
looking at it. Was this lost?
Offices, control room, Kronos lab. That must be it. We have to go through to the other side. But how will we open these doors?
You said control room, right? I bet we can operate the doors from there.
That makes sense. Okay. To get there, we'll need to go downstairs and through the offices.
But Professor, the way downstairs is flooded.
Oh, there's another
Well,
diving suit.
seems there's no other choice. Which of
I'll
us...
go this time, and I'm not going to allow any argument about it.
Because despite how I look, I'm not 80 yet, Harry thought to himself.
Do you want to go down then?
Go ahead, lower me down.
All right. Be very careful down there, Professor.
Everything all right down there, Professor?
So far, so good. Though it's very dark in here. And I think I know why this place is flooded.
Very convenient that they had a diving costume.
They must have tried to break into that flying saucer and then release the black ooze.
Do you see any black ooze around?
All around, yes. I'm pretty sure it was the ship's fuel. I've still got 10 minutes of air in this suit.
Okay. From General Otto Adler to Captain Felix Stahl. Imperative find out everything about the creature in the ice. Stop if it continues not to communicate. Use methods you deem necessary. Stop the Führer or wait the result. Stop Heil Hitler. Stop. We requested help from Berlin. All Adler sends us is a diving suit. How are we supposed to recover all the lost equipment with a with just one damn diving suit. It's ridiculous. Better focus on studying the liquid that came out of the ship. I'll assign Dr. Schultz to it. Chrono Space-Time Navigation Project. Whatever that liquid was, it's become extremely aggressive since the incident. Otto discovered this firsthand, only his shadow remained, disintegrated. Seeks any opening through which to escape. For the time being, we've managed to confine it to the central chamber, but for how long remains unknown. I think, just because I'm conscious of A, straining my voice, but also B, having
Evangeline, do you hear me?
a bit of a runtime.
Yes, Professor.
I've reached the control room. This is where they monitored that black smoke thing and ran experiments on it.
Okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave it there for this episode, just because I don't want my voice grating on you guys. I need to give my voice a rest. And like I said, the runtime of this is pretty substantial so far anyway for this episode. So we haven't finished this chapter. This chapter's been quite long, to be fair, but I think we'll pick this up and finish this at the beginning of next episode, and then crack on with the next chapters. But I'm gonna go and let my voice rest. So thank you guys for hanging out, watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.